Welcome to BioBox Labs. This month's box is all about the wonder of birds. And in this box, you're going to get a chance to make a bird feeder to draw birds into your yard and take a look at them and study them by doing some nature journaling. You're also going to get a chance to take an up-close look at what types of feathers there are and the details you can see even under your microscope in feathers. But the highlight of this box is actually the dissection of an owl pellet. So what is an owl pellet? An owl pellet is the undigested remains of an owl's dinner. So basically, when an owl eats, he basically goes on a hunt. He finds various animals like mice or shrews or moles, sometimes insects or other birds. But their body inside his stomach does not have enough acid to actually completely digest the whole animal. And so, as a result, all the bones and the fur compact together inside their body, and eventually they throw them up into a small pellet. So by looking at these pellets, and the ones we're getting today and get to take a look at and dissect, are sterilized. So we're still going to use gloves, but we're going to get the chance to take a close-up look to find out what did this owl have for its last meal. Now you can see we've unwrapped the owl pellet, and you can kind of just take a look at its external features by looking at it. Maybe use your magnifying glass and see if you can even see some bones or various things within it by using your magnifying glass. Now you'll take your forceps or tweezers and your probe, and you'll begin to pick it apart. And at first it feels very, very tight and hard to pull things apart. And you'll find that you'll have to kind of pull it, and you might feel like you're breaking something, but you're not. It's all just tightly packed in there together. And what you can see as I start to pull things apart is that what's this mostly composed of is a lot of fur, which means that the owl ate some mammals for dinner. If you found feathers, then maybe there'd be a bird in there. But what I see is a bunch of fur. So it means I will probably find some skeletons of various mammals. And what I can already begin to see, if you can see right here, there's some type of skull right there. So I'm going to try to pick it apart. And I'm going to try to set aside any bones that I find to the side of the plate. Now some of the bones are extremely tiny. Here's one here, and here's another one here. This is probably from a shoulder or something like that. And we'll pull some apart. I'm going to put the fur on one side, and we'll put the bones on the other. So I continue to pull it. Now we don't want to go in too deep, or we might break some of these bones. But I can see there's a bone right here. So I'm going to try to see if I can pull the fur from around it. See if I can pull this skull out. Can you see that in here? Looks like it's a full skull. Let's see. Now what I've pulled out here is a piece of the lower jaw right here. So I can see it has a big tooth on it. And now it's a little bit more clear. So the work on this is quite tedious, and you want to be careful. You want to be pull apart firmly, but also be careful. And you end up having to, there's so much fur packed in here that you want to remove all this fur from around the skull. But what I can see is that this one, as I'm pulling off this last bits of fur underneath, I can see that this is the top of its head, because I can see the top of the teeth coming down there, and these are like the eye sockets in here. So I can see that the bones come around it. And I think if I compare this, you all have a sorting guide in your box, and you can begin to compare the skull with your sorting guide. So if I were to guess on this, see how the eye sockets here come out, the big bones here and here, you can see there's an opening here and here. If I compare it, you can compare it with your sorting guide. And the sorting guide you have is here, and I can look at the various heads and try to compare what this one looks like. And I would suspect that this one is a mole because it has these wide openings here. So I would set it off to the side and then continue to dig. So what you're gonna do, there's another leg bone, lots of tiny little bones that you can set off to the side. So what you're gonna wanna do when you do your dissection is see how many skulls you can find, because there's lots of tiny bones. Those ones are harder to distinguish, but you can maybe tell, is it a leg bone by looking at your sorting guide, or is it a hip bone, what kinds of bones you see. But the thing that you're gonna wanna notice the most is how many skulls do you find, because the skulls are gonna tell you how many animals this owl ate for its last meal that it had before it spit out this particular pellet. So now owls actually can spit out about 2 pellets every single day. That means they're eating a lot of moles and rats and things every single day. And so you're going to be able to determine how many they probably eat in a whole year or even a week by determining how many skulls you find in your pellet. So lots and lots of fur here. And let's see if we can find any more skulls. Let's see what else. Here's some more leg bones that we found here. Here's another one here. So we're looking for another skull. Here's a big hip bone. I can see here with this big kind of almost looks like a, I don't know what it looks like, but it's a big, huge bone. It's a scapula. A bunch more bones in here. So you will be able to go through this and find out. But again, the ultimate goal is to find the skulls, because the skulls are going to tell you how many animals that this particular owl had for its meal. So at this point, I've just found one, but I think we're gonna sign off for now. And instead of having us go through this entire pellet, you can tell it's tedious work. Oh, bingo, right before we finish the video, I found one more skull. So we know for sure that this owl had at least 2 animals in its last meal before it spit out the pellet. And each pellet can probably fit from 2 to 5 animals in each one. And then I bet the owl's stomach probably gets so full it has to create a pellet and make room for its next meal. Thank you for joining us today as we dug in and found out what the owl had for dinner. If you have any questions, let us know at bioboxlabs.com. We're always eager to hear about your scientific adventures.